Hi everyone, good afternoon. How are you guys doing? Is anyone progressing with their preparation in their virtual assistant journey? Me personally, I can't wait to see you guys take off with your VA career because I have a vested interest in it. My agency is slowly gaining traction, so I would of course want to get associate VAs who are aligned with my core values, and as much as possible know what my standards are, who are learned from my way of doing things, the way that I approach work, my kind of work ethic. So hi V. I'm in the car right now because I just came from the hospital. I had the follow-up checkup. So I'm hoping that you guys are getting ready because you'll never know. It's not just me. There can be also other opportunities. Hi V. There can also be other opportunities. So if I were you, if you really want, if you have a goal for yourself that you're going to launch your VA career this year, whether it's just 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week, then I strongly suggest that you make that a priority for yourself, to make sure that every week that passes you're doing something about that goal, which is to launch your VA career. Kasi it may start just as 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, and then maybe by next year you're already doing like 20 hours a week, and you're earning, even if you're just what do you call this, even if you're just, I have to back up a bit, no, it's okay. Even if you're just doing 20 hours a week, if your hourly rate is decent, maybe that's enough for you to quit your job. So hi Ting, yan. So my sisters are here, we're in full force. Before I get on with my tip, I just wanted to pick up with you guys because I was away for a long time. There was me getting locked out of Facebook groups. That was, I think, 1 week, which is agonizing. Hi Regina, I'm so happy to be back also. I also missed you guys. And then after I was locked out, it's just so many things going on for me, and then I got sick. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to go back on track. All right. So yeah, Regina's here, V's here, Ting is here, Bing is here. So I know I'm able to track the progress of V, Ting, and Regina and Rina. I know that you all of you guys are doing something about your VA career. So that, just keep that up, because there's no way to go but up if you're doing something about it every week. So even if it's just sitting down in front of your computer learning one task that you really want to master, whether it's writing an email replying to a customer, or whether it's learning how to book an appointment, or learning how to add a meeting on Google Calendar, or learning how to invite someone to a meeting, or learning how to use Google Meet. So all those things, just make sure that you have a goal, one target per week, and it's going to get you a long way. Can you imagine if you just learn one task every week? By the end of the year, how many tasks will you have? You will have 52 tasks that you know how to do as a virtual assistant. Wanted something from outside. Too late. But we need our daily dose of we can do this. Oh yes, you guys definitely can. She Anna, what's are you tagging someone, Art? I don't know if your friend will be able to see it if your friend is not in the group. I hope she is in the group. If she's not in the group, please invite her so she can watch this. But basically, set an intention when it's never too late. It's Wednesday, yes, it's the middle of the week, but it's never too late to open YouTube, open a tutorial, learn something new. Okay, go back to what service you want to offer, what you want to be an expert on. If you can't do that, if that's too big, learn something smaller. The important thing is you learn something every week. Okay, be easy on yourself, take baby steps, and just don't let go. Don't let go of it. Make yourself accountable. Like, okay, it's Wednesday, what am I going to do so that by Friday I know that it's a big check, I did it. Okay, if I didn't do it by Friday, okay, let's do it on the weekend. All right, guys, so that's how you progress. Okay, this is not political. It's not a political statement. It's the hospital tag. So that's that. Just a quick reminder to always keep your eye on the prize, because if you get distracted all the time and you're not accomplishing what you want to accomplish, it can bring up so many kinds of emotions for you. You will feel disappointed, you will feel discouraged, you will have it will affect your self-confidence. So just stay at it. It's just a very simple commitment. It's very simple, it's very small, but you're committing to yourself, and when you do something that you promise yourself, then you feel good about it because you finished it. It's a big win for you. Small win, big win, it's still a big win. Okay, moving on. So my VA tip for my VA tip for this week is about putting a tight lid on your finances. I don't know if you remember, I mentioned before that there are two kinds of virtual assistants. One is an employee, one is a consultant or a business person. So I've been both, and I am both right now. My tendency was, when I treated it like work or saw myself as an employee, it didn't really matter to me. Parang, okay, I'm receiving this much every month, I can spend this much, I can save this percentage. It was just like that for me. It didn't matter if I had high expenses or whatever. But when I started to approach it as a business person, it's a completely different ball game. Okay, so I barely want to touch my earnings now that I'm seeing myself as a business person. I still have my full-time client where I see myself, and they see me as an employee, but they see me as a freelance employee, if that makes sense to you. But I also have this agency going on, and then I also have other clients. So when I started that, I started to become very aware of all the movements in my finances. Like, okay, I got a package for this service. If I can afford not to touch that, I won't touch it. Okay, so my suggestion to you is, even if you're already starting to earn additional income as a virtual assistant, or even before you do so, put on paper or have a very clear picture or document of what your finances are right now. What debts do you have to pay? How much do you have to spend for your monthly sustenance or for the tuition and all those things? And then anything extra, what are you going to do with them? What are you saving up for? Like, are you saving up to move to a new house? Are you saving up to have like the have enough for the deposit for a house that you want to rent? Kasi minsan, if you want to say, I want to save up for buying a house, medyo malaki yun. So you really have to think long term for that. But if, for example, you just want to have enough to move to your own place that you rent, usually 2 months advance, 1 month deposit, so total of 3 months pay or rent, you have to save up for that. You can have that what you call like a jar, diba? Savings jar, where you will put portions of your earnings there every time you receive your pay. So that's just something that I wanted to share with you. I wrote an article on LinkedIn for the very first time, I think 2 weeks ago, and in there I shared the revelations to me there have been leaks in my cash flow that I did not know about until I visited my PayPal account. So apparently I had too many Google emails and I'm not using all of them. It's costing me, I think, $50 a week. And then I subscribed to this service for a website that I did not need. It cost, I think, $200. So I was able to recuperate. I was able to refund those, and that saved me money. And that money I can reinvest in my business. So that same thing, you can do an audit of your income streams or your cost streams. So for me, that was PayPal. I have yet to look into my credit card. I know I have a lot of items there that I have to get rid of. I hate handling credit cards because I have to track where the subscriptions are, how do I cancel, and things like that. But it's something that I really have to face. So don't be like me. Be aware, be very, very conscious of all the line items in your expenses. Me, I'm just learning now because for a long time I've been an employee VA and I've taken this for granted. I'm thinking, okay, as long as I do this, I'm receiving this much. But now that I'm a business person, even if it's an augmentation of my current income, I'm very, very conscious of my cash flow. So just, it can be different things. You can have multiple bank accounts. You can use one bank account for all your expenses, another for your children's educational fund, and another for maybe a vacation that you want to save up for. So it's all up to you. But my suggestion is, even if you're not yet a VA, that's something that I think would be useful for you to set up as early as now, so that when the money starts to come in, you have control. You're not like, oh, where did my money go? Parang you won't feel like you did not have any additional income, which would, that's not a good feeling. So yeah, so that's, if you have any concerns about budgeting also, just like me, feel free to share. We have the same issues, but the important thing is that we're working on it. Okay. I think when the pandemic started, I have greatly reduced my expenses by at least 50%. I've cut down on shopping and all other stuff. So yeah, that's my advice. The reason why I want to share that advice is because if you're a business person, if you're a virtual assistant, you always have to look for a client, and you cannot guarantee that your client will always be around. Yeah, so there will come a time when your client, for some reason, will say, okay, this is the end of the project. So you have to be ready for that. You have to be ready to replace the client. You have to be actively looking for new clients, and at the same time protect your earnings. Okay. So yeah, that's that. And the last thing is, Tina has been helping me out with the sign up page for our course. I'm pushing myself to release it because I want as many of you as possible to be ready to become virtual assistants, because as I said, it's a vested interest in me. If I need more people, then I would prefer that they come from our group, because at least you guys know how I operate. If we're a good fit, then there's no reason for me not to tap you if I need a virtual assistant. Okay, all right. Have a great Wednesday, everyone. Thanks so much for staying around in this live, and please take care. Please comment if you have any questions. And as always, okay, I think we're already 169 in the group. We've grown since the time that we started in August. It's very, very good. So watch out for the announcement on the course. I have